Greetings, Zenith friends. This is your host, ET, with another video coming at you today. I'm going to be talking about the lunar eclipse that's happening tomorrow. And right now, the energy is so intense. I'm sure you can feel it, but by the time you get to this video, it may be too late, and that aspect in the sky may have already passed by. So just in general, know astrologically that during eclipse season, especially the lunar eclipse, because it's a personal inner planet for people, that things get very ramped up. You know, the full moon, everyone's at a heightened energy. The energy is quite intense. Oh my goodness, I feel like I've been going through it the past week, honestly. So give me one moment as I look up this chart and look at aspects. So basically what's happening is we have the moon opposite the sun being around 5 degrees of Western Scorpio, and the moon being at the eclipse being around 5 or 6 degrees Taurus, Western Taurus. In the Vedic, that would be, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe I'm correct. I believe I'm right. That would be the nakshatra of Brahmi, or Brahmani, the elephant. So if you know and you can confirm, or if I'm totally wrong, tell me in the comments. So all I can say about that position of the moon is that these people are very peaceful people. They're very connected to nature. It's actually represented by Ganesha, which is the elephant. Very calm, very peaceful, but Ganesha is not something you really want to piss off or make angry, because the elephant will stomp you. It is a force not to be reckoned with, and Ganesha will overcome the obstacles. That is the god that we invoke to overcome the obstacles. A couple years ago, I had a big Ganesha right in my car. Through my adventures and journeys, I've been through a lot. I cannot talk about it all here and now. However, Ganesha has served me in the sense of helping me to break through the obstacles, to overcome the challenges of life, and to reign successful through any opposition. Okay, so give me one moment. I'm gonna check this out in real time. So yeah, it's interesting. The closest planet to this full moon is actually going to be Jupiter. You know, besides Rahu, which makes the eclipse happen. So, you know, Rahu and Jupiter. So overall, this is actually quite a spiritually infused astrological aspect that's happening. One thing that I can see is, give me one moment, okay? Oh, we have Pluto squaring the nodes. This is huge. Anytime a planet is square the nodes, it's showing us the karma or the obstacle in this life. In a natal chart, if a planet is square the nodes in someone's chart, it means that that planet is basically on trial throughout life, okay? So a lot of timelines, different timelines can be accessed through that planet, okay? And that could be a negative timeline, that could be a positive timeline, you know? But what it means, it means we're coming back into this life. It also represents the present moment, because Rahu is the future, the North Node is the future, the South Node is the past, Ketu is the past lives, past gifts, you know? Rahu is an expansion, acceleration. He's the dragon head. He's the one who can't get enough. He is insatiable. Okay? This is why this Rahu North Node lunar eclipse will be more intense, because Rahu is expanding it, and so is Jupiter. But when a planet is square the nodes, which represents the past and the future, what we're getting is the present moment. This planet is in the present moment, and it's on trial. Okay, so for this configuration, for this planetary geometry that we see happening October 28th, 2023. Don't ask me the time. In the afternoon, if you live in America, the USA. Because Pluto is square both the nodes, it's being represented in the present moment. And what does Pluto represent? Domination, transformation, control, obsession, death, rebirth. It is not pretty. It is not a pretty planet. Transformation is not easy. So yeah, this is one of the biggest things I see right here. And to top it off, the United States is at its Pluto return. So Pluto is actually in the position of the United States when it was first founded in 1776, if we believe and go along with that story and history. Who knows? A lot of history is complete bogus. So who can really know? Were you there? I wasn't there, but I can look at the sky and say Pluto was there, at least at that date. Okay, so that's a very significant thing. So we're actually seeing a lot of transformation in the country, but on a personal level, this is transformation in our lives. This is transformation in our relationships, okay? The sun is in sidereal Libra, so it really does represent the other. And then if the moon is in the Western Taurus, I know I'm skipping modalities, you're gonna have to just bear with me and, use your brain. If the moon is in Taurus, then that puts emphasis on Venus. And where's Venus? Venus is in Virgo, And let me just look at her for a moment. Yeah, and so the biggest aspect that I see here is that Venus is, opposite Neptune, kind of. Not really, but it's in trine to Uranus, which is very electrifying, shaking things up, unpredictable, things that just are going to happen out of the blue. It's epiphany. It represents sudden changes, electricity. It could even represent natural disaster. We see earthquakes from that position, especially with Taurus being the earth. Taurus is also the financial system. So throw Uranus in there, the past 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, what do we got? We got cryptocurrencies. We got a revolution of money, okay? So that's a little taste of what Uranus Taurus is really about. So with Uranus trine Venus, Uranus being the planet of homosexuality and eccentricisms and innovation, oneness, invention and astrology, it really adds a lot of eccentricities to Venus, which is the planet of love, money, sensuality, pleasure, okay, of the 3D realm. So that's a big thing. So what does that point to? What is Venus? Venus is our relationships. Pluto is transformation in our relationships. This full moon eclipse, all lunar eclipses are full moon, so it's kind of silly for me to say, but I'm just going to throw that out there, is sextile Saturn. What does that tell us? And not only that, but we have the sun and the moon opposite of each other, and then we have Saturn sextile Rahu, and we have Saturn trine the sun. I should say we have Saturn sextile the eclipsed moon and Saturn trine the sun, which is also Rahu and Ketu because they're close, but that's another story. Not really. It's all kind of bundled in together. They're about 10 degrees apart, which is close enough for an eclipse. That's how we have the eclipses, because of the lunar nodes, the apogee and perigee of the moon. Okay, so when you have, this is called the point of Thales. When you have an opposition followed by a trine to one side of that opposition and a sextile to the other, which is what we see here with this sun, moon, sun in Scorpio, Western, moon in Taurus, Western, and Saturn in Pisces, Western, we have the point of Thales pointing at Saturn. Saturn is at this point. So once again, what does this really show us? This shows us transformation in our relationships because of the Scorpio-Taurus axis, but more importantly is boundaries. This is the magic of this eclipse. This is the message that's coming through for us at this time. We are being asked to pay attention to our relationships and to have a transformation through them, to basically, once again, set boundaries on people in our lives. Maybe they're not coming with us into the next phase. And if we hang on to that relationship, then we ourselves